This video just has examples of addition problems, and you can see more about the principles if you want to look at the other video about adding, subtracting fractions. But here's the routine that we always go through. So I like to do mine in a column. So I'm going to change each of my individual fractions to the common denominator. The common denominator needs to be a 24. Smallest number, 6 and 8, can both go into. 6 to 24 is a times 4 jump, so 5 times 4 is 20. 8 to 24 is a times 3 jump, so 3 times 3 is 9. That's the old golden rule of fractions. So change all fractions to the common denominator. Add the tops, the numerators. 20 plus 9 is 29. The denominator never changes. So 24 added to 24, still 24. Add the whole numbers, that's a 25. Step 3, simplify. So I call that 1 and 5/24. Oh, I don't call it 1 and 5/24. I call it 26 and 5/24 because 29/24 is 1 and 5/24 added to the 25 that I got from the whole number addition. So again, I'm going to write it as a 1 and 4/8 plus a 3 and 5/8. And here's an old trick I always use. Anytime that the larger denominator is a simple multiple of the smaller one, it is the common denominator. And I recognize 4 times 2 makes an 8, and that's in essence the adjustment I made. Golden rule of fractions, 2 times 4 is 8, 1 times 4 is 8. Add the tops, that's 9/8. Bottoms never change when I'm adding. 1 plus 3 is 4. Change that to a more common answer, which is 5 and 1/8. These two numbers are relatively prime, meaning there's nothing that goes into both of them. Whenever that happens, the product of those two is the common denominator. However, just being good at third grade arithmetic, you should recognize the smallest number that 8 and 5 both go into is 40 itself, 8 times 5. So I'm going to change both of these to fractions of 40. So to jump an 8 to a 40 is a times 5, so this becomes 25/40. And then jumping a 5 to a 40 is an 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And again, when I add these together, I'll get 10 and 49/40, which is the same thing as 11 and 9/40. Now, in none of the examples that we've looked at so far have we had to reduce this fraction. We've had improper fractions that could make a whole number. But be careful. You sometimes have to reduce the answer fraction. For instance, if I had something like 1/3 plus 5/12, 1/3 is 4/12, and 4/12 plus 5/12 is equal to 9/12, and I would never leave something like 9/12 as an answer because it could be easily reduced to 3/4. So you always want to look at that fraction, both the whole number, the improper fraction, and the final fraction. Be sure that it's reduced. Now let's look at some subtractions. I note that I trade if necessary, and anytime I give you a problem, it's not 100% guaranteed, but I generally require trading. So I always dream up problems that are going to require it. So first I'm going to change everything to the common denominator, and the common denominator is simply the 6. So this is a subtraction, so be sure you remember we're subtracting this time. And you can't take 3/6 away from 1/6, so I'm going to do a trade. And the trade knocks 30 down to 29. It takes 1 off the whole number, and it adds 6/6. Never put a 1 tick. Mark that out and add the denominator to the original numerator, and that's 7. And what you're really saying is that the 1 I borrowed is the same as 6/6. And there was already 1/6 there, and so the 6/6 plus the 1/6 is where I'm getting that 7/6. As a shortcut, it'll always be the denominator plus the numerator makes the new numerator after the trade. Now I can do the subtraction. 7/6 take away 3/6 is 4/6. And then when I subtract the whole numbers, 29 take away 4 is 25. And here's a case where I can't let this answer stand, so I have to call that 25 2/3. Again, common denominator here would be an 8, so I leave the 20 3/8 alone, and then I'll be subtracting 5, and I'll call that 6/8. And again, on subtraction, I can't take a 6 away from a 3, so a trade is required. I'm going to trade the 20 down to a 19, and then 6 plus, that's an 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So 11 take away 6 is now 5, and the final answer would be 14 5/8. Notice that you can't take 6 from 3, and since the fraction size is an 8, I'm borrowing 8/8. And the one that I took away, I just thought of as 8/8 plus 3/8 is 11/8. Shortcut, just the original denominator plus the original numerator equals the new denominator after the trade. Check to be sure that this is a reduced fraction. Last problem, that'll be 1 2/6 minus 5/6, and notice that I just, as a sequence, make sure I've got a common denominator. Matter of fact, on the questions test it says, how do you add or subtract fractions? That's all you need to say right there. You just have to recognize that I can't proceed until I have a common denominator. And part of this principle is that when I'm adding, subtracting, it's got to be like things. Notice again that I'm going to have to do a trade, and I'll call that 8/6. The one whole here is 6/6 plus the 2/6 is 8/6, or the shortcut, 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 take away 5 is 3/6, but I definitely don't leave that alone. 3/6 is equal to 1/2. So typically it should never take a minute to do an arithmetic problem. Fractions, I talked them through, but still you ought to be able to do a fraction arithmetic problem in 30 seconds or so.